Today, we are getting into the fascinating work of Gordon Allport. He was a psychologist who totally shifted how we think about personality, really zeroing in on what makes each and every one of us unique. So, let's explore the architecture of you. So, let's just start with this huge question. What is it that actually makes you, you? I mean, really think about it. Allport spent his entire career trying to figure this out, and he wasn't interested in just putting people into broad categories. He wanted to understand the specific, living, breathing nature of an individual. And here it is. This is Allport's core definition of personality. Now, I know it might look a little dense, kind of like a textbook definition, but trust me, it's actually a blueprint. The two phrases you really want to lock onto are dynamic organization and psychophysical systems. They are literally the key to unlocking his entire way of thinking. All right, so let's start with that first piece of the blueprint. What on earth did Allport mean by a dynamic organization? Well, for Allport, your personality isn't some fixed thing you're just stuck with. It's dynamic. It's always growing, always changing, always evolving. And that psychophysical systems part, that's just a fancy way of saying it's the fusion of your mind and your body. Psycho for your thoughts and feelings, and physical for your brain and your body. He saw them as this deeply connected, unified system that's always, always active. Okay, so if personality is this grand structure, what's it made of? What are the building blocks? For Allport, the answer was pretty simple. Traits. But, and this is a big but, he didn't think all traits were created equal. Nope. He actually organized them into a hierarchy. Right at the very top, you have what he called cardinal traits. And here's what's so wild. Most of us don't even have one. A cardinal trait is incredibly rare. It's this one single passion or characteristic that is so overwhelmingly dominant that almost everything a person says or does can be traced right back to it. You know, think of the term Gandhian. That word alone brings to mind the cardinal trait of nonviolence that completely defined his life. So moving down a level, we get to central traits. Now this is where most of us live. These are the main characteristics that form the core of our personality, maybe 5 to 10 of them. Just think about it. If you had to write a letter of recommendation for a friend, what words would you use? Sociable, honest, anxious, outgoing? Yep, those are their central traits. And finally, at the bottom, we have secondary traits. These are way less consistent. They're more about preferences or attitudes that only pop up in certain situations. We're talking about things like your favorite food, your taste in music, or why you get angry when you're stuck in traffic. These traits add texture to your personality, but you'd have to know someone pretty well to even pick up on them. So, okay, we have these building blocks, right? Cardinal, central, and secondary traits. But what is it that holds them all together? What makes them feel like a coherent you? For this, Allport came up with a very special term for what we might call the self. He called it the Proprium. The Proprium is basically everything that you consider to be genuinely, essentially you. It's that core feeling that gives your personality a sense of consistency over time. It's why you can look back at who you were 10 years ago, and even though you've changed, you still feel like the same person deep down. Allport said these are the parts of our experience we see as warm, central, and totally essential to who we are. And what's really important here is that the proprium isn't something we're just born with. No way. It actually develops in stages as we grow up. It all starts in infancy, with this sense of bodily self, just becoming aware of our own body as this anchor in the world. Then, as we learn our name, we develop a sense of identity. And from there, we build a sense of self-esteem as we feel that pride from doing things all on our own. It's this beautiful, gradual construction of our core self. So this developing self, this proprium, it's also where our motivations come from. And on this topic, Allport had a truly radical idea that completely set him apart from almost everyone else in his field. He called it functional autonomy, and it's all about why we do the things we do right now, in the present. Okay, this is the crucial point. For Allport, the reasons you do something today are not necessarily tied to the reasons you started doing it in the first place. This was a huge break from the Freudian idea that everything we do as adults is just an echo of some childhood conflict. Allport was like, no, the past is past, there are no strings attached. Your current motivations are independent, they're autonomous. And he actually broke this idea down into 2 types. First, there's preservative autonomy. This is basically our simple, repetitive habits, like eating at the same time every day. It's almost automatic. But the really big one, the master system of motivation, is what he called propriate autonomy. This is tied directly to our deepest values, our core interests, everything we consider a part of our proprium, our self. Let me give you a perfect example. Imagine a student takes a class just because it's a requirement. That's the only reason, the initial motivation. But then, as they get into the material, they become completely fascinated, totally absorbed by it. Years later, what started as a chore has become a lifelong passion. See? The original motive, that course requirement, is totally gone. It's been replaced by a new autonomous motive, a genuine, self-sustaining interest. So let's pull all these amazing ideas together and just take a look at the complete picture, the full architecture of personality as Allport saw it. So to wrap it all up, for Allport, personality is a dynamic organization. It's always growing and changing. It's built from a hierarchy of traits, the super rare cardinal, the core central, and the situational secondary. All of these traits are held together and unified by the proprium, or the self, which itself develops over our lifetime. And finally, our adult motivations are explained by functional autonomy, the idea that who we are now is driven by present motives, not ghosts from the past. And that really leaves us with a pretty deep question to think about, doesn't it? When you look at your own life, your passions, your habits, your goals, how much of who you are today is just a product of your past? And how much is being driven right now, autonomously, by the person you are actively trying to become?